Here we go. Welcome everyone. Yo, much love. Let me get a sound check real quick, but hello nonetheless. Since it's you pretty much always working, then I can at least say what's up. And plus I need to, you guys know. You know the drill at this point, mostly. And the cat, you know the drill about her too. She is a bit feisty. And so she might have some things to say.
And the
Hey,
cat, you know the drill about
come
her
here.
too. She is a bit feisty.
All right. Nice. So the sound's working. That's good. Happy equinox, everybody. Happy first day of spring. Much love to you all. This is Jay Baldeo. Welcome to my channel. If you're new and you end up enjoying the content over here, then please hit a like, share, and subscribe. And One True Goddess already popping in. What's up? Great to see you. I hope you're having a beautiful first day of spring, a beautiful equinox. And so, for everybody today, we're going to have a bit of an intro, maybe a slightly longer stream, because for the equinox, I want to do my best to kind of provide you guys with maybe a little magical help. Okay, girl, here's the thing. You can sit on my lap, and that's fine, but you do get a lot of hair on my gloves. All right, for now, you're looking too beautiful to say no to. Typical. Okay, and thank you, One True Goddess. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, then. So, yeah, let me get some music playing too. I think that one yesterday was pretty decent vibes as I was re-listening to it. I mean, the shaky rattly thing. If any of you guys felt like that was I don't know, a little dissonant, maybe is the best word to use, then I could certainly find something else that has a really pretty flute and all that. But for the most part, it seemed like it flowed pretty good and sounded pretty good. But your feedback is always appreciated and found to be very helpful. All right. So let's start out with for the equinox. If you aren't sure what to do, if you're like, I want to do something, maybe you're like, so for whatever type of level you might be on. Carrie May Ranpinar 5. What's up? Welcome in. Hope you're having a great day today. So yeah, for whatever reason, like I get everybody has their different reasons. So even if you're experienced and you might find this useful, then great. No matter what, that's what it's meant is to be helpful. But also on that newer level, I get that we're nervous at first. We don't know where to start, what to do. We feel insecure. We feel intimidated. We've even if we've been like researching for a while, like I said about on the what that one video I saw a while back, where in the comments somebody had said that they'd been in the armchair for like it was a while, however many years, 9 I think it was, if I remember the number right. And then they finally just barely started actually getting down and dirty, and they were happy. They said it was the greatest choice they ever made. And so, if I can help you do that a little bit today, then that's the goal. So that's why this is going to be a little more geared towards people who have never done any kind of like magical ritual or working, however you want to word it. Welcome into those of you just coming in, by the way. Happy spring. So what I would do, especially because this equinox is Mercury going back direct from the retrograde too, so that's like that's the double green light, like I said in yesterday's stream. Then I find that this is one of those times where like candle magic is really simple and can be really effective along with sigil magic. So I would probably, because the equinox is that perfectly balanced time of light and dark. Oh, and I'll add real quick too that if you're somebody who catches this on the replay, this energy, like whether it's a equinox, a solstice, a full moon, a new moon, even certain planetary alignments, obviously if you can do it during the peak, then that's going to be great. But also there is a pretty good window of about, I want to say it's like 36 or 48 hours from that exact peak moment on either direction where you can still harness that energy. So if you catch this tomorrow, you're still fine. And even if you're on Sunday, like you'll be fine. And if you catch it in the future, don't feel like you missed out. Just take this all into consideration, and then moving forward, use it to apply maybe for on the solstice, on for a full moon, whatever you want to do whenever feels right to you. Don't feel pressured, but feel inspired instead. Feel motivated. That's what time it is. So I would get if you have like a local shop that sells candles, like a local magic type of place, whether it's the crystal shop, whether there's an actual like witchy shop, whatever. If they've got the colored candles and it's in your budget, then I would get a white one and a black one because of the perfect balance of light and darkness right now with the equinox. And then I also get an orange one for that mercurial energy. Um, and then or if the best you've got is at Walmart, you could also just grab those little like those little white candles that are in the like tray basically that are meant for like mosquitoes and a barbecue and all that. You can get like a pack of them for pretty cheap if I'm not mistaken. And those would work fine too. And then you could put like a drop of food coloring in each one if that's the best you got. You could put a drop of paint if you got it in each one. Shoot, you could even use a little bit of a crayon or whatever and try to color crayon, however you say it, in there and try to color it a little bit. Or at the very least, well, words are magic, right? You could just speak to each one. You're my orange candle. You're my white candle. You're my black candle. There you go. And then what I would do is I would put a sigil on each one. So this is for the people who have never heard about a sigil before, don't know about a sigil, or even if you have heard it, I mean, refreshers can be nice. So the way you do sigils is coming from the great magician Austin Osman Spare's method. So let's say, so well, okay. So you could either write up a whole intent and then sigilize that, or I'm going to give you a more simple example right now. And Jeremy Maccabee says, God loves you. You are just so correct, Jeremy, and welcome and many blessings to you. I appreciate you. Okay, so what you can do is, so like since over here, our focus is Holy Guardian Angel, let's just say you put each one of those three words. Oh, are you not going to write? Do I got to get a new pen? Or do I just got to scoot this book out of the way? Sometimes it's the surface. There we go. Okay. So you just do each one of those three words, and then you sigilize each word. Guardian Angel. And that is right there. God loves us so much, he gave us all one of those, right? So Jeremy Maccabee, you are on some type of time for sure. Okay. So traditionally what you do is you remove the vowels. So holy being your first word, you take out the O. Y is debatable. They say sometimes Y is a vowel, right? A-E-I-O-U, and sometimes Y. So you could keep that or you could get rid of it. For this purpose, we'll keep it. And then you also normally would get rid of double consonants. So say holy was a word that had like two L's, you would go ahead and get rid of one of those L's or whatever the double consonant would be. So now you'll have that HLY, and then and then what you basically do is make like a little glyph, a sigil, a little alphabetical type of thing with that. So you could do your L here, your H here with this coming up, and then even your Y here. Boom, already there's a sigil, pretty easy. And then you can make it as fancy. You can kind of add to it, whatever you want, but I'm just trying to give you the real quickie on it. So then you do that with all these words. I'm probably not going to make each one, but you cross out those vowels. GRDN is going to be your leftover one. Sometimes it helps to write what's left over. If GRDN, Angel A, and so NGL. Okay. Now, whatever sigil you come up with over here, I'm just going to, I don't know, I'm just going to do a little squiggly and then another little squiggly over here. There's your sigils. So then what you would do is carve one of those into each candle. And this is where you can trust your intuition a little bit. There is no right or wrong. It's like, especially with something like this, whatever one you feel goes on whatever color candle, carve it in, use like a toothpick, a nail, like a nail you would hit a hammer with, probably not your fingernail. You're going to get it all gummed up with wax, or whatever tool, just little thing you have that you can carve into wax, pretty easy, that sigil. Then you will burn those down. Simple as that. And while you burn them down, just kind of sit in meditation, sit there and watch them burn quietly. just focusing, single pointed focus on what it is you're trying to achieve. So if you're trying to if you're trying to obtain knowledge and conversation of the holy guardian angel, then you would just think about that. Just think about, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to speak with you, angel. You can even say a little prayer and then just kind of sit there and just keep your mind single pointed, focus on that. Do your best. I know we all got our heads swimming with a lot of things, so just do your very best and know that that will be more than good enough. Okay, and at the very least, if you don't feel like you have to do candles, because you could even just write each one of these on a piece of paper and then use those colors. Though I know white could be a little hard on other whites, so just do your best, write lightly with a pencil or something and call it white, black and orange, and then do it on a piece of paper, each of you, and then just kind of put it around you in your, as you sit in your circle, and one by one you can just focus on each one, spend like a couple minutes at least, if not 5 to 10, just really kind of staring at the sigil, just kind of zoning in and out of it, kind of, just kind of hypnotizing yourself with it a little bit. And that's good enough to charge it. I mean, there is the other way that you can do the orgasm thing. Yeah, get yourself all riled up and then orgasm. And then that will certainly charge the sigil. But there's other ways of charging the sigil. So that's why burning a candle will be so super equally effective. Even just trancing in and out of it in a simple meditation stare, like I said, those will all be perfectly fine. So there's a little something for you from me, Happy Equinox, that could easily help you obtain whatever goal you have going on. So say you don't really care about this, but you do really care about, I don't know, you're stressed about at work. You really need a couple things to go right with your job. You need this deal to go through. You need whatever, you know what I mean? Then I would figure out a good little statement for that. Um, and even maybe a a 3 part trifecta of how to best articulate that need you have, that what you're trying to manifest, your goal, and then go from there. Now you know the method, all of that. If you know all this already, then awesome. This is, but still, you could, like I say, take to the bank, like take what is good for you. Otherwise, leave the rest. Either way, so that is a little equinox ritual you could do. And at the very least, if that still feels like too much work, if you're just like, I get it, a lot of us can be real lazy, no judgment on you, then at the very least, just try to sit in like a 5 minute meditation, say a little prayer, because there is definitely a very powerful opportunity with this current energy right now to align yourself with whatever it is you are trying to accomplish in this life. And we as human beings have such an amazing creative potential and force within us. So good luck to you. Godspeed, many blessings, and happy equinox. Okay, so that does it for that part. Now, let's pull a tarot card. Let's see what the tarot has got to tell us. And I knew it. I knew the cat would do it to me. Now I got to spend a second getting some of this hair off the gloves. But that's okay. It's worth it. That's the cost of love. And to me, it's a small price to pay. All right. Hey, you already got me once, though. All right. You look beautiful. You're such a good cat. Okay. Okay. All right, then. Book of Thoth, happy equinox. What should we know today as we go about our day, as we read into this next segment of the Dhammapada, as we try to figure out what it is that we are supposed to be doing with this life if we don't quite figure it out yet? Amen. All right, I'm going to give it one more. Hey, you chill out now. You're fine. Oh, Oh, hey, come on. Oh, you want to be on screen, huh? Not today. Not today. All right, cut the deck. That's the card there. Give me a second. We'll see what it is. I got to pull this cat out of here before she starts knocking things down. Come here. Come here. I know. I know. What do I see when I touch it? I see a queen. Oh, no. Kind of, sort of. Not really. The queen because it's Venus. That's about it. Otherwise, we have Aries energy. We have fire here. Fire wands, four of wands, completion. The Lord of completion. Well, good. That's a really good thing to see for whatever we might be trying to do with this equinox energy, with this springtime energy. We see the wands here have the dove on the one end, the ram on the other, Venus and Aries, the perfect lovers, right? Aphrodite and Aries, Venus and Mars, Aphrodite and Aries. And then the four, so Hesed in the world of fire, so that most initial spark world, that very beginning world. So this but the way you bring it into completion, because the four is the sphere where that form for the material world starts really kind of concretizing, you could say. At least up still kind of at the higher, more abstract level, but as it comes down the tree, that's the world of the demiurge, so the world of the creator god Zeus. You could look at it that way. So Zeus here, but with that energy of the lovers. And so again, you do got that spicy element of it going on, that sexual element going on. So and also we see here kind of like what looks like an eight-spoked wheel. So we're going to learn about that a little today too, because I tried to get the head start last night in the book, but then I got to the part on the Four Noble Truths, and they just hit me like a freight truck. Even though it's not my first time being exposed to them, but it was just one of those times where I'm at now and what all I've been through and been going through, they just hit in a whole new way where I literally had to stop. I had to put the book down and just think. I had to just really contemplate for all the way till I fell asleep. So that's what put me to bed last night. And that's what's going to wake us up today, hopefully. Okay, well, that's the energy there. Love, we definitely see the fires of love in this card. The love that brings about formation, right? Because the male and the female, the masculine and the feminine have to go together to make what? To make a baby. But that can mean that can be interpreted in a lot of ways, not just in the way I used here. Cool. Well, to me, that looks. Oh, and it's Friday too, so that's extra Venus. Nice. Oh, that one almost got by me yet again, but it did. This time, it did not get past the guardian at the gate. No siree. All right, then, everyone. So let's bust into the Dhammapada. That wasn't too much of an intro. I wasn't sure how long it would be with my little ritual idea for you. Give it a try, really. Give it a try. What do you got to lose? But if you already had something planned up, then if it adds to what you have planned up, feel free. Otherwise, do what thou wilt. You got plans already. Go follow them through. And again, best of luck to you. You'll do it. I know you will. Okay, so let's see. The bookmark is that's where I got myself plugged up, but it wasn't really too far in. All right. Come on. Are you gonna stay in there? Do I gotta bust you in a little more? Some of these books are a little more stubborn in the book holder than others. And this one is one of those. All right. God loves you indeed. And Easter's coming up soon enough, too. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right now, it's equinox time. Equinox time. You can say it whichever. Potato on that one, huh? Equinox, as they say. Okay. So today we start out with the Wheel of Dharma. The Buddha's return is a pivotal moment, one of those rare events when the divine penetrates history and transfigures it. Like Moses returning from Mount Sinai, like Jesus appearing in the crowd at the River Jordan to be baptized by John, A man who has left the world returns to serve it. No longer merely human, but charged with transcendent power. As the scriptures record of Moses and Jesus, we can imagine how the Buddha must have shone that bright spring morning in the Himalayan foothills. Dazzled by the radiance of his personality, it is said people gathered about him and asked, "Are you a god?" "No." "Are you an angel?" "No." "What are you then?" The Buddha smiled and answered simply, "I am awake." The literal meaning of the word Buddha from the Sanskrit root bud, to wake up. His 5 former disciples caught sight of him from a distance and resolved neither to shun him nor to give him special attention. But as he drew closer, his face shining with what he had seen and understood, they found themselves preparing a place for him and sitting at his feet. "Well," one of them might have asked, "did the bowl flow upstream or down?" "It flowed upstream, brothers and sisters." The Blessed One replied, "I have done what is to be done. I have seen the builder of this house," indicating his body, but signifying his old self. "And I have shattered its ridgepole and its rafters. That house shall not be built again. I have found the deathless, the unconditioned. I have seen life as it is. I have entered nirvana beyond the reach of sorrow. Teach us what you have found." Thus, to these 5, his first students, the Buddha began his work of teaching the Dharma, the path that leads to the end of sorrow. The place was the Deer Park near the holy city of Varanasi on the Ganges, and the event is revered in this as the moment when the compassionate one set in motion the wheel of Dharma, which will never cease revolving so long as there are men and women who follow his path. In this talk, we see the Buddha as physician to the world. The relentless, oh, so we could see that well, I already said the wheel of Buddhism, but that is like the wheel of Dharma, that we saw in that tarot card. So in the way that you are now perhaps stepping in to the path of Dharma, and that never stops revolving is the idea that little by little it liberates more and more and more, and so eventually, right, that path would come to an end with the total liberation of all sentient beings. But time is a time is a long journey. In this talk, we see the Buddha as physician to the world, the relentlessly clear seeing healer whose love embraces all creatures. In the 4 noble times, he gives his clinical observations on the human condition, then his diagnosis, then the prognosis, and finally the cure. The first truth, brothers, is the fact of suffering. All desire happiness, sukha, what is good, pleasant, right, permanent, joyful, harmonious, satisfying, at ease. Yet all find that life brings dukkha, just the opposite: frustration, dissatisfaction, incompleteness, suffering, sorrow. Life is change, and change can never satisfy desire. Therefore, everything that changes brings suffering. The second truth is the cause of suffering. It is not life that brings sorrow, but the demands we make on life. The cause of dukkha is selfish desire. Trishna, the thirst to have what one wants and to get one's way. Thinking life can make them happy by bringing what they want, people run after the satisfaction of their desires, but they get only unhappiness because selfishness can only bring sorrow. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. There is no fire like selfish desire, brothers. Not 100 years of experience can extinguish it. For the more you feed it, the more it burns. It demands what experience cannot give: permanent pleasure unmixed with anything unpleasant. But there is no end to such desires. That is the nature of the mind. Suffering because life cannot satisfy selfish desire is like suffering because a banana tree will not bear mangoes. Yep. And that, a lot of what I had to contemplate on is because in the ways that I even do that to my own self. And we see that on this channel a little bit, the way I try to kind of look out for others and kind of give the heads up of, hey, this is what you're going to find if you're coming along this journey anyway. If you're taking this path up the mountain, then hey, just watch out for this, watch out for that. And that's why at a certain point, I gotta let it be. But here I'm gonna use a great little teaching real quick. It actually comes from the wonderful monk Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche. Maybe you've heard of him. Hopefully so. If not, he had a little thing he called idiot compassion. And a good way to sum that up is like just letting someone burn their hand on the stove. Oh no, it's okay. You do you. You live your truth. Instead of just smacking their freaking hand out of the way. And like with that friend of mine, I love you, buddy, if you ever watch any of this, but you can be kind of an idiot at times. You can be really foolish. I feel like idiot is pretty harsh. Foolish, naive, gullible. I mean, we can all be those things to a certain extent, right? But he gets real mad. It's like when I try to smack his hand away from the stove, he insists on putting it there just to smite me. It almost seems like the way he'll just get so upset about what it is I have to tell him that he doesn't want to hear. Only to most of the time later on be like acknowledging that what I was telling him all along was worthwhile to listen to and all of that, you know what I mean? So that's good. Ultimately, if it's helping him out, if he's correcting himself, then good, because he has a great heart, he is a great friend. I do love you so much if you ever somehow happen across all of this. And so I know ultimately he's probably going to be fine in the long run. But in the meantime, he's certainly he's living his life, that's for sure, and that's what we're all doing out here, right? And so if I can do my very best to try to not extend too much idiot compassion out there by trying to smack people's hands away from the burning stove, but at a certain point, if you're that determined to burn your hand on the stove, then you know what, knock yourself out. I'll still maybe try to help you bandage it up afterward and all that. I'll do my best to help you with those burns, but hey, we all do got to learn our own way. That is sort of the energy of the aeon, the growth of the child, right? Who else is going to burn their hand on a stove but a child? And that is the aeon we're in right now. So there. With that being said, let's continue the book. There is a third truth, brothers. Any ailment that can be understood can be cured, and suffering that has a cause has also an end. When the fires of selfishness have been extinguished, when the mind is free of selfish desire, what remains is the state of wakefulness, of peace, of joy, of perfect health, called nirvana. Okay, that's going to be a lot of highlighting right there, too, but easy. And I get it. There are probably some people out there who are like, happy they burned their hand on the stove and even happy the money they spent to burn their hand on the stove. Good. All right, then good. Well, if it worked for you, then good. That's at the end of the day, that really is what it is. It's good if it really did help you out. Okay, the fourth truth, brothers, is that selfishness can be extinguished by following an eightfold path. Right understanding, right purpose, right speech, right conduct, right occupation, right effort, right attention, and right meditation. If Dharma is a wheel, these eight are its spokes. Right understanding is seeing life as it is. In the midst of change, where is there a place to stand firm? Where is there anything to have and hold? To know that happiness cannot come from anything outside, and that all things come into being have to pass away. This is right understanding, the beginning of wisdom. Oh, that's all right. Okay, right purpose follows from right understanding. It means willing, desiring, and thinking that is in line with life as it is. As a flood sweeps away a slumbering village, death sweeps away those who are unprepared. Remembering this, order your life around learning to live. That is right purpose. So there you go. We can already see right there in a Buddhist way, knowledge and conversation of the Holy Guardian Angel, receiving your true will, doing your true will. Right speech, right action, and kitty. Okay, right speech, right action, and right occupation follow from right purpose. They mean living in harmony with the unity of life, speaking kindly, acting kindly, living not just for oneself, but for the welfare of all. Do not earn your livelihood at the expense of life, or connive at or support those who do harm to other creatures, such as butchers, soldiers, makers of poison and weapons. All creatures love life, all creatures fear pain. Therefore, treat all creatures as yourself, for the dharma of a human being is not to harm, but to help. Okay. The last three steps, brothers, deal with the mind. Everything depends on mind. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Suffering follows an evil thought as the wheel of a cart follow the oxen that draw it. Joy follows a pure thought like a shadow that never leaves. Practice that. Maybe even have that be your equinox intention is that you're just going to really control your thoughts a bit more, where you're going to stop dwelling on things that stress you out, stop feeling, I don't know, whatever kind of negativity you might have swimming around up in that mind of yours. And you know what'll help with that? Crowley's Liber E. I've said it before. Go check out the Crowley playlist on this channel for the new people. Liber E. Start with and start doing that one. Oh yeah, that one is just so wonderful. Okay, everything depends on the mind. Life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Better just highlight all that. Okay, right effort is the constant endeavor to train oneself in thought, word, and action. As a gymnast trains the body, those who desire nirvana must train the mind. Actually, that's what I've been saying about the gym thing. And it's hard. It's harder to spot in the spiritual community, right? Like, because if you were going to go to the gym and you wanted to actually pay the money for a trainer, and they're like, okay, here's these two trainers, and one is just so painfully obviously out of shape just by looking at them, but somehow they got the job as a fitness trainer, and the other one is just so very the opposite, it's just so in shape. It almost makes you it almost hits on your insecurity a little bit, but also you're ultimately trying to get there. So who are you going to pick? Well, that's a little more obvious. And the problem we have in the spiritual community is just so many people would dress up, put on a robe, put on a bunch of pentagram necklaces, whatever. They look the part, especially for people who just don't know any better. But you want to know what a real Magus looks like? Bob Ross, Mr. Rogers. I don't know what if you know what the younger generation look them up. You've probably still seen them in memes if you're not familiar with who they are. Um, in a more modern in a more modern take of that. Okay. And obviously Lon Milo Duquette. He doesn't make himself look all these magicians, that's funny. They really look the part, that's for sure. Well, remember about the thing that the seed that bears fruit and all of that. Okay. Hard is it hard it is to attain nirvana beyond the reach even of the gods. Only through ceaseless effort can you reach the goal. Earnest among the indolent, vigilant among those who slumber, advance like a racehorse, breaking free from those who follow the way of the world. Some of them look cool. I'll give them that. Some of you guys do look pretty cool, kind of. I mean, some of you honestly look kind of cringe, but hey, that's just me. I bet there's some people who think you look real cool, and some of you do look real cool. You do look real cool. Is what you're doing for the world equally as cool as you make yourself look on the internet, though? Let's focus more on that, huh? Happy spring equinox, everyone. Right attention follows from right effort. It means keeping the mind where it should be. The wise train the mind to give complete attention to one thing at a time, here and now. Those who follow me must be always mindful, their thoughts focused on the Dharma day and night. Whatever is positive, what benefits others, what conduces to kindness or peace of mind, those states of mind lead to progress. Give them full attention. Whatever is negative, whatever is self centered, what feeds malicious thoughts or stirs up the mind, Those states of mind draw one downward. Turn your attention away. Exact same thing Swami Vivekananda said, and all the best of them have said. Okay, let's see. We'll do this one right here. The wise train the mind to give complete attention to one thing at a time, here and now. And those who follow me must always be mindful, their thoughts focused on the Dharma day and night. Like Dion said, the thing about when in Cosmic Doctrine, how she said she read the thing from Annie Besant's book about the ascended masters, and it was like something in her woke up, like something she didn't even know was there, and then she went berserk in pursuit of that thing. And that's exactly what this is saying too, in its own way. Hard it is to train the mind, which goes where it likes and does what it wants. An unruly mind suffers and causes suffering whatever it does. But a well-trained mind brings health and happiness. Definitely. And yep, that mind really is one of the hardest muscles to get in shape. Oh, if you think going to the gym was hard, it can be. I mean, you got to put in work either way, right? Some of that Crowley stuff will help with it. Hey, there you go. Some of those Libers, Liber E, Liber 3, Liber O, you know where to find them. Right meditation is the means of training the mind. As rain seeps through an ill-hatched hut, selfish passion will seep through an untrained mind. Train your mind through meditation. Selfish passions will not enter, and your mind will grow calm and kind. This, brothers, is the path that I myself have followed. No other path so purifies the mind. Follow this path and conquer Mara. Its end is the end of sorrow. But all the effort must be made by you. Buddhas only show the way. Boom. The years of teaching. Let me get a little water. From Varanasi, the Buddha set out to teach the Dharma, walking through the villages and cities of North India. His fame spread before him, drawing crowds wherever he stopped, and from each place he took away with him several ardent young disciples in saffron robes and left behind a great many more who, though they could not abandon their homes and families, had consecrated themselves to the Dharma. Only during the monsoon season did the Buddha not travel, taking advantage of the heavy rains to rest with his followers in a forest retreat and teach those who lived in the cities and villages nearby. In this way, he completed the second 40 years of his life, and many beautiful stories are told of him during these years of wandering. A few of these will give some idea of the way he taught and why he so swiftly captured the hearts of the Indian people. The homecoming. From the day Channa returned to the palace at Kapilavastu with his master's cast-off finery, the Buddha's family had mourned. Yashodhara wept for two. Little Rahula, newly born the night that Siddhartha left, grew up knowing nothing of his father except what he heard from the loving accounts of those who missed him. According to ancient Indian custom, those who renounce the world to die to their past and become a new person altogether, never to go home again. Yeah, and so if you really do step into this path, and I get that was a big reason I would be intimidated not to. But see, here's the thing: I already got in. I'm already swimming around. I'm already wet, but the water's fine, you know. But it's not meant for everybody, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And that's why there's like the warnings about. Well, one of the reasons why there's a lot of warnings about it is because, yup, pretty much all the things that need to be killed off, you is a good way to put it, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's like that Lieber Het. Thanks a bunch, Alistair Crowley. Thank you, Uncle Al. Lieber Het, right? And he said, if thou dost not do this of thine own will, we will do this despite thy will. So yeah, Once you step the foot into the path, just know it's no joke. Um, it's going to happen whether you like it or not, basically. And so you might as well go with the flow of the water than fight it, fight the current, or hop in the current, as they say. I don't know. Is that a saying? You know what I'm saying. Of Siddhartha's life in the forest, little more than rumor could have reached his family's ears. For 7 years, Yashodhara mourned without hope, while the infant that Siddhartha had left in her arms grew straight and tall. One day, Yashodhara's maids came running with the news that a Buddha, an awakened one, was coming to Kapilavastu with a great following of men, all in saffron robes. He taught about Dharma, they said, as no one had ever taught before, with an open hand and an open heart, and it was said that he was none other than the man who had been Siddhartha. King Shuddhodana listened to this news with joy and followed by anger. Oh, there's no and. With joy followed by anger. For he loved his son passionately and had never forgiven him for abandoning his royal heritage. That same day, he rode out into the forest where the Buddha and his disciples were staying and demanded to see his son. Even in those days, it was Indian custom for children to greet their father by kneeling and touching his feet. Yet King Shuddhodana, unprepared for the radiance of the man who came to greet him, found himself kneeling at the feet of his son. But then 7 years of frustration burst forth. Why had he left those who loved him? His father and foster mother, his wife and little son. They had given him every comfort. If he wanted something more, did he have to break their hearts to get it? And the crown of a king, did it mean so little to him that he had to go and throw it away, leaving his father alone? The Buddha listened patiently, and even while Shuddhodana scolded, the pain in his heart began to subside. At last, abashed before this man he could no longer claim as his son, he fell silent. Then the Buddha spoke. Father, which is the greater ruler? He who rules a small kingdom through power, or he who rules the whole world through love? Meditate on that one tonight for your equinox ritual. And keep your eyes peeled for that as you navigate the occult circles out here on the internet. Your son, who renounced a crown, has conquered all. For he has conquered any enemy, or conquered an enemy to whom all bow. You wish for a son to give you security in your old age. But what son can guarantee security from changes of fortune, from illness, from age itself, from death? I have brought you instead a treasure no other can offer, the Dharma, an island in an uncertain world, a lamp in darkness, a sure path to a realm beyond sorrow. Shuddhodana listened to these words, and the burden of sorrow slipped from his shoulders. He returned to his palace with his mind calm and clear, thinking of the treasure his son had mentioned and wondering what it would mean to accept it. The next morning, Yashodhara awoke to the sound of tumult in the streets below. Her handmaids ran to the balcony. It had not been long since the Buddha's illumination, but even if we discount the enthusiasm of tradition, he had already gathered a large following. And that regal figure at the head of a stream of bright saffron must have made a splendid sight. How like a god he looks, her maidens called. Mistress, come and see. Yashodhara did not join them, but called Rahula to her side. Do you see that radiant figure, she said, who owns only a mendicant's bowl and robe, yet carries himself like a king? That is your father. Run down and ask him for your inheritance. Rahula disappeared down the stairs, and the woman watched him reappear in the courtyard below and push his way through the crowd until he stood squarely in front of the man in saffron, waiting at the palace gate. The boy fell at his father's feet and boldly repeated his mother's words. Yashodhara's handmaids could not have heard the exchange, but they saw the Buddha lift Rahula to his feet with a sweet smile and remove the gold-hemmed wearing cloth from the boy's shoulder to replace it with one of saffron. Rahula, 7, had become the first and only child permitted to join the Buddha's disciples. How's that for an inheritance, huh, Mom? Mistress, Yashodhara's maids pleaded, you must go down to him too. There, the king himself has gone to greet him. Surely he will see you, even if he is a monk, and it is against his vows to look on a woman. No, said Yashodhara. If there is any worth in my love, he will come to see me. The maids protested, but through their talk came shocked cries from the crowd below, and then the sound of footsteps on the stairs. The door opened on King Shuddhodana, and behind him stood the Buddha himself. As he crossed the threshold to her chambers, Yashodhara knelt in his path, clasped his ankles, and laid her head on his feet. Since the day you left, Shuddhodana said, she has mourned, but she has followed your way. When Chana brought back your robes and jewelry, she put aside her finery. You slept on the forest floor, so she gave up her bed for a mat. When she heard you were eating only once a day, she too resolved to eat only once a day. The Buddha stooped down and raised her to her feet. You have not yet heard a word of the Dharma, he said, but in your love you have followed me without question for many lives. The time for tears is over. I will teach you the way that leads beyond sorrow, and the love you have shown to me, will embrace the entire world. Okay. Next section, the order of women. While the Buddha was in Kapilavastu, many in his family, even his father, came to seek permission to join the monastic order he had established for his male followers. There were no women in the order, however, and although those dearest to his heart, Yashodhara and his aunt and foster mother, Prajapati, earnestly sought to join, the Buddha refused to make the precedent, asking men and women to live together in a homeless life while trying to master the natural human passions seemed too much to expect of human nature. Amen, Buddha. Amen. Yeah, that would have been a hard one to pull off even for you. For women, his recommendation was the same as for men who wanted to follow him but were not prepared to give up home and family. There is no need to take the monastic life, he told them, in order to follow Dharma. All the disciplines of the Eightfold Path, including meditation, can be followed by householders if they do their best to give up selfish attachment. Boom. Everything. Yet this was not enough for Yashodhara and Prajapati. They had seen through the superficial satisfactions of life and longed to dedicate themselves completely to its goal. After the Buddha left Kapilavastu, they decided to go after him on foot like pilgrims to press their case. They caught up with him at Vaishali, almost 200 miles away. Ananda, a young disciple who loved the Buddha passionately and attended to all his personal needs, happened to see them first, and his heart immediately understood their devotion and moved him to take their side. But the Buddha had already made his decision, and Ananda could not think of any way to bring the subject up again. He came to his teacher that afternoon, troubled and preoccupied, not knowing what to say. What is it, Ananda? There is a cloud over your face today. Blessed one, Ananda said, my mind keeps struggling with a question I cannot answer. Is it only men who are capable of overcoming suffering? The Buddha never answered idle questions, but Ananda was very dear to him, and clearly there was something on his mind. No, Ananda, every human being has the capacity to overcome suffering. Every single one. There you go. But it is going to take you some work. It's going to take you quite a bit of work, that's for sure. But you can do it. I believe in you all. Just be patient with yourself. Is it only men who are capable of renouncing selfish attachments for the sake of attaining nirvana? No, Ananda. It is rare, but every human being has the capacity to renounce worldly attachments for the sake of attaining nirvana. Blessed one, if that is true, should only men be allowed to join the Sangha and devote themselves completely to the way? The Buddha must have smiled, for Ananda had caught him with both love and logic. No, Ananda, if someone longs as ardently as I have to give up everything and follow the way, then man or woman, it would be wrong to block that person's path. Everyone must be free to attain the goal. And so, see, he's saying, which I mean, I'm sure most of you either know or have caught on to, but just in case, um, that sure to just renounce your things, to just completely say I'm done with everything. Which, if some of these you know internet maguses were actually on that time, then why do you need money from people? Come on, you're a renunciate, you're an expert. What do you need money from people for? Um, it's about attachment. It's about attachment. Simple as that. So that's why he says that you can do it as a householder. You can do it whatever you're doing. But yeah, there is this eightfold path, but ultimately it goes to non-attachment, not being attached to whatever it is. Like the idea, I've certainly heard the idea that like you die, you go to hell, and everybody kind of has a personal hell, and whatever, I don't know, whatever the things that cause you the most suffering just kind of get put in your face left and right, left and right. And the more you have attached to those things in life, then obviously the more hell is going to suck for you until you reincarnate to try to get it right the next time around. So non-attachment. That's what he means by giving up everything. So maybe some of those people, so maybe some of those maguses, maybe that is what type of time they're on. Maybe they are just so non-attached. But I see patterns, baby. Ananda's eyes shone with gratitude. He got up and opened the door, and there stood the two barefooted women waiting for their reply. Ananda, the Buddha laughed, by all this you have said and done, just as I would have said and done. You know what's cool about Lon Milo Duquette? He's his one of his little courses you could say he's doing right now. He has a limited spots for it. It's already over, like to sign up for it, but there was like limited spots, and he invited you to come in person, learn from him, learn from his wife. Two people who have been doing this longer than most of us have been alive in Joshua Tree National Park. How sick would that be? Out in nature, one with the Mother Earth, with an actual master magus teaching you some things, huh? Now that sounds like something worth the money. Thus were ordained the first nuns of the Buddha's order, and the two branches of the Sangha became the world's first monastic community. The middle path. Let's see, what page are we on? All right, and time we're doing good. We can get a little bit more for sure today. The middle path. The Buddha's students came from many different backgrounds. Ananda and Devadatta, his cousins, left behind wealth and social position. Shariputra, Maudgalyayana, and Kashyapa were ascetics won over to the Buddha's path. Upali had been a barber in Kapilavastu. And Sona, also from a wealthy family, had entrained hopes of being a musician, for he loved to play the vina, maybe it is, probably. When Sona took to the spiritual life, he did so with such zeal that he decided everything else must be thrown overboard. Despite wild animals and poisonous snakes, he went off into the forest alone to practice meditation. And to undo the softness of his pampered past, he insisted on going barefoot. After some time of this, the Buddha decided to go after him. The path was not hard to find, for it was stained with blood from Sona's feet. In addition to his begging bowl, the Blessed One brought something unusual, a vina, whose strings he had loosened until they were as limp as spaghetti. He found Sona meditating under a banyan tree. The boy limped over to greet him, but the Buddha did not seem to notice. All he said was, Sona, can you show me how to make music with this? Sona took the instrument respectfully and fingered a few notes. Then he began to laugh. Blessed One, he said, you can't produce music with the string when the strings are so loose. Oh, I see. Let me try again. and he proceeded to wind the strings so tightly that Sona winced. When the Buddha tested them, all that came out was high pitched squeaks. Blessed One, that won't work either. You'll break the strings. Here, let me tune it for you. He took the instrument, loosened the strings gently, and played a little of a haunting song. Then he stopped, for the music brought memories he was afraid to awaken. It has to be tuned just right to make music, he said abruptly, handing the vina back to the Buddha. Neither too tight nor too loose, just right. Sona, the Buddha replied, it is the same for those who seek nirvana. Don't let yourself be slack, but don't stretch yourself to breaking either. The middle course, lying between too much and too little, is the way of the Eightfold Path. All right, I'm going to skip ahead real quick. I'm just going to see how long some of these next little sections are because I know about what page number would be good to stop and pick up tomorrow. Okay, that one. Oh, some of these are short. Okay, nice. Ha! That's where we're. Well, that's probably about where we stop. Page 63. What is that? Yeah, we'll probably go. Okay, bit longer today, maybe about 30 more minutes. Okay, Malunkyaputta. The Buddha's penetrating insight attracted many intellectuals, one of whom, Malunkyaputta, grew more and more frustrated as the Buddha failed to settle certain basic metaphysical questions. Finally, he went to the Buddha in exasperation and confronted him with the following list. Blessed One, there are theories which you have left unexplained and set aside unanswered. Whether the world is eternal or not eternal, whether it is infinite or whether it is finite or infinite, whether the soul and body are the same or different, whether a person who has attained nirvana exists after death or does not, or whether perhaps he both exists and does not exist, or neither exists nor does not. The fact that the Blessed One has not explained these matters neither pleases me nor suits me. If the Blessed One will not explain this to me, I will give up spiritual disciplines and return to the life of a layman. Malunkyaputta, the Buddha replied gently, when you took to the spiritual life, did I ever promise you I would answer these questions? Malunkyaputta was probably already sorry for his outburst, but it was too late. No, Blessed One, you never did. Why do you think that is? Blessed One, I haven't the slightest idea. Suppose, Malunkyaputta, that a man has been wounded by a poisoned arrow, and his friends and family are about to call a doctor. Wait, he says, I will not let this arrow be removed until I have learned the caste of the man who shot me. I have to know how tall he is, what family he comes from, where they live, what kind of wood his bow is made from, what Fletcher made his arrows. When I know these things, you can proceed to take the arrow out and give me antidote for its poison. What would you think of such a man? He would be a fool, Blessed One, replied Malunkyaputta shamefacedly. His questions have nothing to do with getting the arrow out, and he would die before they were answered. I'm saying. Or back to that compassion thing, too. I remember hearing it put once that it's like a doctor removing a tumor. He's not gonna, I don't know, sit there and try to talk to it gently. Oh, come on. Or even try to tell the patient, oh, you sure this, come on, this is a nice tumor. Look at this tumor. This is a beautiful tumor. No, he's gonna chop the thing out. Same but diff is what's being said right here, right now. Similarly, Malunkyaputta, I do not teach whether the world is eternal or not eternal, whether it is finite or infinite, whether the soul and the body are the same or different, whether a person who has attained nirvana exists after death or does not, or whether perhaps he both exists and does not exist, or neither exists nor does not. I teach how to remove the arrow, the truth of suffering, its origin, its end, and the noble eightfold path. Okay, teaching with an open hand. Perhaps, a disciple suggested discreetly on another occasion, these are matters which the Blessed One himself has not cared to know. The Buddha did not answer, but smiled and took a handful of leaves from the branch of a tree under which they sat. What do you think? He asked. Are there more leaves in my hand or on this tree? Blessed One, you know your handful is only a small part of what remains on the branches. Who can count the leaves of a Shimshapa tree? What I know, the Buddha said, is like the leaves on that tree. What I teach is only a small part, but I offer it to all with an open hand. What do I not teach? Whatever is fascinating to discuss divides people against each other, but has no bearing on putting an end to sorrow. What do I teach? Only what is necessary to take you to the other shore. Okay, the handful of mustard seed. Once, near the town of Shravasti, the Buddha was seated with his disciples when a woman named Krisha Gautami made her way through the crowd and knelt at his feet. Her tear-streaked face was wild with grief, and in the fold of her sari she carried a tiny child. I've been to everyone, she pleaded desperately, but still my son will not move, will not breathe. Can you save him? Can't the Blessed One work miracles? I can help you, sister, the Buddha promised tenderly, but first I will need a little mustard seed, and it must come from a house where no one has died. Giddy with joy, Krisha Gautami raced back to the village and stopped at the very first house. The woman who met her was full of understanding. Of course I will give you some mustard seed. How much does the Blessed One need to work his miracle? Just a little, Krisha Gautami said, then remembering suddenly, but it must come from a house where no one has died. Her neighbor turned back with a smile of pity. Little Gautami, you know how many have died here. Just last month I lost my grandfather. Krisha Gautami lowered her eyes, ashamed. I'm sorry. I'll try next door. But next door it was the same. And at the next house, and the next, and the house after that. Everyone wanted to help, but no one, even in the wealthiest homes, could meet that one simple condition. Death had come to all. Finally, Krisha Gautami understood. She took her child to the cremation ground and returned to the compassionate Buddha. Sister, he greeted her, did you bring me the mustard seed? Blessed One, she said, falling at his feet, I have had enough of this mustard seed. Just let me be your disciple. There you go. Like I say, you really gotta get to that point. I've had enough of the mustard seed. I've had enough of the nonsense. I've had enough, especially my own nonsense. I've had enough of my own nonsense. I am over this. I am over the suffering. I'm over the sorrow. Help me pull the arrow out, Blessed One. But we all got to get there in our own way, in our own time. But if you're here listening to my yap, then it's probably because that's what you're trying to do. The clay lamp. One of the greatest admirers of the Buddha was King Bimbisara of Magadha. When he heard that the Buddha was approaching his capital, he hung the city with the festive decorations and lined the main street with thousands of lamps and ornate holders, kept lit to honor the Buddha when he passed by. In Bimbisara's capital lived an old woman who loved the Buddha deeply. She longed to take her own clay lamp and join the crowds that would line the road when he passed. The lamp was broken. That's clearly not a good place for me to put the highlighter. I keep knocking it down. Okay. The lamp was broken, but she was too poor to buy a finer one of brass. She made a wick from the edge of her sari, and the corner shopkeeper, knowing she had no money, poured a little oil into her lamp. A stiff breeze had come up by the time she reached the street where the Buddha would pass, and the old woman knew there was not enough oil to last long. She did not light her lamp until the radiant figure of the Buddha came into view at the city gates. The wind rose, and King Bimbisara must have watched in agony as a sudden gust extinguished all his lamps. When the Buddha passed, only one light remained burning, a broken clay lamp which an old woman guarded with both hands. The Buddha stopped in front of her. As she knelt to receive his blessing, he turned to his disciples. Take note of this woman. As long as spiritual disciplines are practiced with this kind of love and dedication, the light of the world will never go out. The last entry into nirvana. For over 40 years, the Buddha walked the length and breadth of North India, and throughout the rigors of a mendicant's life, he was careful to keep his body fit. But in his 80th year, he fell so seriously ill that Ananda and some of the other brothers feared he might die. Through the pain and fever, however, the Buddha's mind remained clear. He wrestled with death, and after a while the illness abated and strength returned. I wept, Ananda confessed, for I was afraid you might leave us. But I remembered that you had left no instructions for us to follow if you were gone. If anyone believes that the order would fail without his guidance, the Buddha replied dryly, that person surely should leave careful instructions. For my part, I know that the order will not fail without my guidance. Why should I leave instructions? Be a refuge unto yourselves, Ananda. Be a lamp unto yourselves. Rely on yourselves and nothing else. Hold fast to the Dharma as your lamp. Hold fast to the Dharma as your refuge, and you shall surely reach nirvana, the highest good, the highest goal, if that is your deepest desire. Without a doubt. Okay, the next day the Buddha asked Ananda to summon all the monks in Vaishali. When all had gathered, he spoke to them briefly, urging them to follow the path he had taught them with diligence and care, so that it might safely guide others for thousands of years. Remember, brothers, all things that have come into being have to come to an end. Strive for the goal with all your heart. Within 3 months, he who has come this way to teach you will enter nirvana for the last time. For I will tell you, he confided later to Ananda, that Mara has appeared to me again, as I have not seen him since the day I attained nirvana. You may rejoice now, I told him, for this body will soon leave your kingdom, borne down under the weight of 80 years. Ananda, it creaks and groans like an ancient cart that has to have constant care to go on. Only in deep meditation am I at peace. But Ananda, you must know that I will never leave you. How can I go anywhere? This body is not me. Unlimited by the body, unlimited by the mind, a Buddha is infinite and measureless, like the vast ocean or the canopy of sky. I live in the Dharma I have given you, Ananda, which is closer to you than your own heart, and the Dharma will never die. And so that makes me think of, hold on, what do I want to highlight from? Right here. This body is not me. And then the rest. Unlimited by the body, unlimited by the mind. The Buddha is infinite and measureless. So it reminds me of a story from Sri Ramana. And at one point, he had a disciple who came along and for whatever reason got really sour at him. Got really upset with him. Thought he was some type of fraud. I mean, hey, I guess it happens. So hey, maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe I've got certain people in the crosshairs wrongly, and that's fine. I can admit that if that comes to be the case. Um, however, this guy was really upset. He did a whole smear campaign on Romano, like posted things in the news and all that. And this is if I'm remembering correctly. I know he certainly was upset with him and basically ran a smear campaign on him. But I think he did like put out articles and even books talking about this guy's a fraud. This guy's not a real yogi. This guy's trying to deceive you. All of that. Keep in mind, Sri Ramana wasn't charging these people money for it though. So hey, but I mean, still, understandable. We all get skeptical. We all got trust issues. Come on, you know the song. Um, and so at a certain point, though, this guy came back to Sri Ramana and basically just sought his forgiveness and like fell to his feet, prostrated before him, said, please forgive me. Please forgive me. I know I'm going to hell. I know I'm gonna go to hell. I know I'm gonna suffer. I did so wrong to you, all of that. And Sri Ramana just looking at him with that like timeless look everybody said he had in his eyes, that look of infinite stillness and love and compassion, looked at him and said, well, don't worry. If you're going to hell, I will be there too. Okay, let's finish this up. On the following day, the Buddha, looking back on the city of Vaishali for the last time, left with his disciples for Kusinara. But his health had not fully returned. On the way, he rested in the mango grove of a lay follower named Chunda, who served the Buddha and his disciples with an elaborate meal. Again, the Buddha's body was seized by pain. Again, he subdued it, rousing the others to continue on their journey. After some time, he stopped along the road and asked Ananda to spread a robe beneath the tree for him to rest on. While he lay there, a man came to speak with him and left so impressed that he became a disciple. When he returned, he presented the Buddha with a new robe. Ananda, helping him to put it on, was struck by a change in his appearance. How your face and skin shine, Blessed One. The gold of their radiance dulls even the saffron of this robe. There are two occasions when a Buddha's face and skin shine so, replied the Buddha gently. When he first enters nirvana, and when he is about to enter nirvana for the last time. That makes me think of my granddad. And one of the last times I hung out with him, um, not this last summer, but the summer before, he came up to visit because he lived in a different state. And we were at a like summer family barbecue, and I was sitting right next to him because I love him so much. And just seeing the look on his face and this shine he had even in his old age, just looking and admiring his family. And I looked at him and I said, "You did good. You did real good. You should be proud of yourself." Hard to, I don't know if he attained a nirvana or not, but all I know is he was certainly a special someone, that's for sure. Later that same day, they arrived at Kushinara, or at Kusinara. There, One True Goddess says that's very sweet. Thank you, One True Goddess. Much love to you. Appreciate you. There, in a grove of sal trees, the Buddha told Ananda to prepare him a bed. For I am suffering, Ananda, and desire to lie down. He stretched himself out in what is called the lion posture, lying on his right side with one hand supporting his head, as we can still see him represented in the statues and carvings that depict his last hours. He sent Ananda into the city of Kusinara to announce that he would shed his body during the third watch of the night, so that those who so desired could come and see him for the last time. They came with their whole households in such great numbers that Ananda had to present them to the Buddha, not individually, but family by family. When only monks of the order remained, the Buddha asked if anyone had a doubt or question about the way. All were silent. The Buddha was satisfied. Then I exhort you, brothers, remember all things that come into being must pass away. Strive earnestly. They were his last words. Entering into deep meditation, he passed into nirvana for the last time. Okay, page 63, lucky number 63. And that seems thematically an appropriate place to end it for the day. That gives us, yeah, about what we need to that 34-ish, 35 pages for tomorrow's remainder of the introduction. And then we will be on to the book, to the verses proper. Don't forget, we're still just in the introduction, but boy, oh boy, this is great. So, look forward to that tomorrow or whenever you happen across it. I don't think I got much else to say today. I got to use the bathroom anyway. And so, much love to you all. Sunshine Chick, welcome. Great to see you. Happy spring equinox. It says, okay, see you for the next book read. Wonderful. All right. Yep. Well, that's the game plan then. I got work to do anyway. So Much love, many blessings, happy spring equinox to all of you, and or just happy life to all of you whenever you find this, whenever it happens across you. And I appreciate you all so very much. May you be blessed. May you find that way to pluck the arrow of suffering out that is poisoning you. You will. And I'll see you next time. This has been Jay Balvale. This has been the Dhammapada. Much love and bye bye.